Well, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to your pre-market watch list here today. Thanks again for tuning in. Yesterday, just insanely crazy day. If you were active in the trading world yesterday, stocks were going nuts. We had GLSI went like from $5 to 160, and throughout the day there was just numerous penny stocks running all day long, from SLX, GOVX, NTEC. I mean, you name it, there were stocks moving all day long yesterday. So it was a really, really awesome day. I ended up finishing the day at $22,000 green yesterday. So after I'd uploaded our live trading video for the yesterday being up, like 3 or so grand, I just started nailing trades back to back and was able to get up to a $22,000 green day yesterday. So that was awesome. So today we're going to hopefully try to keep the momentum going. I don't think it's going to be as strong as yesterday, but let's get into the video here. So far this morning, we have already gone short on one penny stock today, ZKIN. So this was already a good play today, up $575 from our short trade on ZKIN. Pretty much started shorting all the way up into the 314s and covering down into the low of that kind of move. So ZKIN was one of the candidates that was on the watch list today once it started popping up pre-market. So this is something we're going to follow for the open. We're going to see if pre-market there's probably a stronger chance that it pops. During market open, I think there's a better chance that it fades out, especially if it goes all the way back up to $3. I think you'd have a greater chance of seeing it drop out. If it stays low until market open, you have a better chance of it being long. So to give you guys some reality price targets here, if the price of the stock pre-market you're watching it gets over $3, it's going to be high risk to trade. If in the event by market open it ends up being somewhere down to 22, then I highly doubt it's going to be good. But at that point, you're probably not going to see it sell down too much more. I think overall the markets are going to try to target back down to the price of 244. As a whole. So we are watching ZKIN for potential trades today. As you can see, if you look at the 4-hour chart, we already went over resistance and sold back down. The question kind of is, it would have to reclaim this price of 270 for one if it was going to break out of these tops. But if you think about it, ZKIN hit resistance at 317 in the past. We came down. We ran back up to that resistance for the first time. You normally don't break out on the first attempt. That's why we went short pre-market. So now it's a matter of, can ZKIN get back over the prices of 272 and successfully hold? If it can, then it would have a chance of actually going through the price of 317. So for now, we're primarily short bias on this going into the open, especially if it gets all the way back up towards the prices of $3 and it's opening up the day or market is opening as ZKIN is towards $3. Okay. Next one on the list that we could discuss is IMMP, I believe, is something moving here this morning. So IMMP is moving really strong. There is some news on the stock this morning. IMMP price target doubled to $8 from Maxim Group. Was there news from yesterday? I think there was, because it popped after hours. So IMM shares are trading higher as traders circulate a report titled Report Statistically Significant Survival Benefit for Key Patient Group in Ongoing Phase Study Metastatic Breast Cancer. So this is sort of like a sympathy play to GLSI. And if you guys aren't familiar, GLSI yesterday ran all the way to $158, and we probably had a bunch of kids trading on Robinhood buying it at $158, and then it crashed, and well, that's not good. So anyways, IMMP is moving with breast cancer news, some sort of cancer news from yesterday, and it's like sympathy for GLSI. So this is kind of the number one candidate you should probably watch long bias today. It's slightly getting overbought pre-market. It's getting a little high. Still think that it does have some room to go higher, but as a whole, IMMP is going to be the one stock today that you're probably going to watch for long bias movement, okay? As it's sort of playing with some sympathy from GLSI from yesterday, okay? A couple other things that have been moving pre-market with CLRO. I don't really like this one. I'm not a big fan of it. Something else we're going to keep our eye on is SLS. If you look at SLS, SLS was a stock yesterday. I shorted it a couple times, made some good money on it, and it blew up after hours. At 4 a.m., it was trading up to $14. Since then, it's crashed all the way back down to, say, like 9. For right now, I don't really care to be short bias on this. We're actually probably going to be a little bit more long bias SLS going into the open. And if in the event the stock really spikes up, then we'll be more short bias. So for the time being, SLS is kind of in this lower trending area. Okay, so it's sort of in the lower risk zone to be a long bias trader, and it's in more of the higher risk zone to be a short trader. So we could see a move on SLS back to 1030. That seems like something that's pretty logical. But SLS has yet to even touch trending support. Trending support is all the way down at 807. So it is possible to see a bearish move to start the day down to 807 and then for it to curl back up and turn into a long. So we're going to be keeping SLS on long to start the morning, and then probably shifting to bearish after we see it either spike or fail to move higher. Okay. Something else that might be okay is this UTSI. So if you look at UTSI, it had a really strong move yesterday after hours, and it faded out all the way pre-market. Now UTSI is essentially down towards 1 deviation trending support. It's trying to create, this like flag pattern right now. And if it stays trading down here at this $1.94 price until the open, this has a pretty good chance of reversing into a long and squeezing up. And we would pretty much be targeting around the 246. And if it breaks 246, then we could say it's going to go up to 3, which is kind of towards the pre-market high, 285. So this is also going to be a strong long candidate on the penny stock watch list for us today because we had an explosive move yesterday. It faded all the way out from the top to the bottom down to trending support. Now we're going to look for it to base out and then go long from, say the $1.96, $2 price all the way back up to say 240 to 250. I think that's a pretty logical play for us right now on UTSI. Something else that we'll talk about now is the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. So as we had mentioned the other day, as long as nothing crazy happens in the market, we should be continuing up probably closer to price targets of 400. But anyways, we are currently pulling back on the S&P 500, and we don't have any trending support on it until $360. So the SPY was unable to break out of its trending resistance. Now, since we're pulling back, we don't have any support all the way down until 360.39. No trending support until about 360.39. So it's possible we could see a strong corrective move in this market over the next couple days. The only thing we might be able to be hopeful about is that the Qs have trending support that's closer than 360. They have trending support that's right at 297. So it is possible we'll see the Qs down to this 297 price today, and then we get a bounce. And that's what I think we're going to see today. I think we see the market drop down to 297 on the NASDAQ, and then the NASDAQ's going to try to bounce at 297. And then that's really what we're hoping, is that this pullback is sort of a 1-2 thing where we have a big day, one more down day, and then we start to pick back up. So we had our big day, looking for another down day to 297 on the NASDAQ, and then we can just be hopeful that the markets do sustain that trend line and keep pressing the market back up higher. Okay? And honestly, that's pretty much the watch list here for you guys today. There's a couple other things that are moving, but really your main ones are going to be IMMP, SLS, UTSI, and really that's probably it for now. I'm sure there's something else that's going to move that I'm not mentioning, but other than that, I mean, that's pretty much what I'm going to be watching here today. That seems to be where some of the momentum's at anyways. So for what it's worth, guys, thanks again for tuning in. I do appreciate it. Feel free to join our trading room if you ever guys want to expedite your learning curve. You can do so. Links are in the description. At any time, feel free to join us. We'd love to have you. With that being said, we'll see you guys on the next video. Everybody, take care.